Also, like, how cool of a character is like Bolin?
I found Bolin annoying.
He tried to be.
Really?
He
Oh my
seemed
God,
like.
I really enjoyed him.
Dude,
He
he's like a
tried
wannabe
too much to be like
Sokka.
Sokka.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. He's like a wannabe Sokka with his wannabe pet. You know.
I mean,
And
okay.
I missed Appa. Come on, like, ugh.
Okay,
That
also,
guy
no,
showed
see,
Appa was a lot more
here's-
involved in the
here's the
story
thing.
than
Yeah.
her little
The
tiger
polar
thing
bear.
was.
Naga.
Polar
okay,
bear,
okay, no,
yeah.
see, I think one thing that we're mixing over is we're expecting the last airbender from Korra.
Oh,
which
definitely, yeah.
is
It's
a
all
false
nostalgia.
notion to go
Yeah,
with
yeah.
from the beginning. Bolin is not Sokka. They have similar characteristics, but they are different characters. Naga is not Appa. So, like, just having
Nowhere
this,
close.
just like going into Korra with the expectation to see the last airbender is a false point to begin with, because you're not going to get it. You're not watching the last airbender. You're watching new characters with new stories and new personality attributes. So yeah, and I think, like, to me, like, the character dynamics worked well. It made sense because these characters, they live in a modern world. They have different challenges, you know. They have different upbringing. So, like, 100%, like Bolin and Mako, based on their upbringing, based on their history, Bolin is, like, you know, a nervous, awkward extrovert. That's who he is, and I think that got played really well. Like it was a lot of comic relief for sure, and like Mako was like the very polar opposite, which is also like also like I think like a little like a little piece of like trivia. I think his Mako was named after the voice actor who played Iroh
Yeah.
and like passed away. And in like honor of him, they named Mako. So that's a little bit of trivia. But yeah, no, I feel the character dynamics and like the relationships worked really well for the world. I think the characters specifically get hate because people who've seen the Last Airbender, they expect to see the Last Airbender characters in Korra,
That makes sense.
and which I just think is a false notion.
No, but even if you take Mako as a character on his own, he's sorry, Bolin, not Mako. Sorry, Mako is fine actually. But if you take Bolin as a character on his own, I just don't see the charm of the character. It's kind of like it's too in your face. And it's just like I don't know how to explain it properly right now because it's like been a while. I can't give proper examples. But for
Yeah,
some
no.
reason I was just like, oh my god, get off the screen, dude. Let the other characters do something. Because
It's like-
he's just shown so.
It's like Zenitsu from Demon Slayer. It's like Zenitsu for
I mean,
me.
okay,
you know,
okay.
I got so
Have
annoyed.
Like, okay, have you never met a person in real life who is very like in your face
I
and
have,
very,
but
you know, like
but
there?
never
So
this weirdly annoying.
Right here, the one who's speaking right now. Not a big fan of him.
I don't know, man.
Bro,
See,
maybe
like,
you are that
I
person,
think-
so you don't like what you see.
Well,
See, like, I think
I
for
didn't know
like
this
a
was a-
big chunk, for like a good chunk of the show, I think Bolin was the reason why the team stayed together, because anytime that there were like rifts between team members, it was like Bolin was the one like holding the peace and like, you know, making sure that grudges and like disagreements don't lead to the team breaking apart. So Bolin was essentially like the social glue for the team, not to mention you know, he was very, very useful in like a lot of the fights and stuff that happened, and especially when he developed lava bending, it went to a whole different level. But yeah, like Bolin was like honestly like the glue that held the team together, and at least for me, it was some pretty good comic relief. Especially when like considering how like serious some of the themes got.
one second. Something is buzzing like crazy on my table and I don't know what. Yeah,
I
sorry.
think the same could be said for Sokka as well, right?
Yeah, but so, like, of course,
But
I enjoy.
Sokka
For
plays a
me,
more important role
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
whole
yeah.
story as well, but he does the same
Sokka's
thing. Like where
comic
if there
relief
like
level is
disagreements
much
in the
higher,
group, then
yeah.
he sort of plays the.
He's
thing
funnier.
about Sokka that I feel makes it different than Bolin is the amount of character development that was given to Sokka was on another level entirely.
Mhm.
Because he started out as this sexist, like misogynistic asshole who who got owned very, very quickly into the series.
Yeah.
All his ideals were broken very early on, and they made it a point to show Sokka, you are wrong, you're an asshole, and as the viewer you were like, holy shit, he's treating women like an asshole.
Okay, guys.
What should be? It's not,
What?
I hate to interrupt. My camera is dead. So
Like
now I will just be a
battery
face.
died? Oh, okay, we'll put a picture. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue.
Anyway, let's just go on. Yeah.
Audio is going on now. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
My audio is on. Don't.
Yeah, Bru, continue.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
my
so, like,
camera can't
you
record
know-
for that long.
Mm-hmm.
oh yes, don't worry. I had the same problem before.
But yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so Sokka was like, it was very established. Like, okay, I don't know, Sid Junior. I don't know if you've seen this, but Grand Blue, for example, has
No,
this
yeah.
Sid
character
one.
who's. Okay. I just said
you.
Sid Junior. I didn't say Sid. Okay, Sid Junior. Sid Junior. You are Sid Junior.
I am senior in every way.
Except age.
These self-proclaiming people.
Do you think I care about like becoming a shriveled prune? No, I don't.
Hey, you're Indian,
Sorry.
okay? You respect your elder brother as an Indian with our family values.
Well, I do live in Canada,
You
so
But yeah, continue.
no.
Bro.
Anyway, sorry.
But
you-
yeah,
you
that
were saying?
series called Grand Blue has
Yeah.
this lolicon character who's like obsessed with little sisters. And while a lot of manga and anime have like this radical okayness with sexism and pedophilia and shit like that, which gives it a really bad name, what they do in this manga really was like different, because every character in the show mocks the hell out of him, lets him know that this shit is not okay, this is not cool, you're not supposed to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what happened with Sokka as well, where he goes to Suki and he's like, haha, you're a girl, and then she kicks his ass. And it's
Yeah.
immediately a shock to his character. He's immediately like, what the hell just happened? I got my ass kicked by a girl. And then she actually makes him dress up like they do, and they actually starts teaching him, and that immediately causes a giant change in his character from the start. And that just keeps getting better and better as he meets more people, and he realizes, like when he sees Azula, when he sees Tylee and all that, he's like, yep, I am weak. There's so many women who are much, much better than me. And you can see that character arc grow really well, but I didn't see that with Bolin.
Hey,
felt
Bolin gets bullied by his
it's like this,
girlfriend,
and then
right?
it just went. Yeah,
What's-
Bolin was just like this, and then it just went suddenly upwards when he got lava bending.
Lava bending.
Hey, but what's the?
Okay.
He went to the phase with his girlfriend. What's her name? One of the twins,
the
right?
twins,
Eska
the
and
twins,
Desna.
Yeah.
Oh.
But yeah, what we say?
I think Desna was a guy, so Eska was the girlfriend.
Okay. Oh yeah, one of them was a guy. Holy shit, I forgot.
Yeah.
I thought both of them were like twin sisters. Yeah.
As you can tell, I remember many odd details from the show.
Yeah.
But no, okay. Like, see, I think what you're referring to about Bolin having like, being a certain type and then just like shooting up, I think that definitely reflects Bolin's bending. Like in the beginning, he is an earth bender. There's only so much. Like he's a good earth bender. He's not the best out there. But the moment he becomes a lava bender, like he's better than most of the earth benders alive. So that I definitely see. But when it comes to like Bolin as like a character, like Bolin as like a person, I definitely see him growing with every season, because Bolin's challenges aren't like the challenges that that character struggles with aren't as in the forefront as they are with other characters. Like with Mako, we know that he's a character who is distrusting, and that's in the forefront. Like we know that that's who Mako is. So because Mako's challenges are so clear and in the foreground, we see them be solved, and it makes sense. But because Bolin is a character whose challenges are like very hidden, we don't notice them being solved. But again, I don't think that takes away from the character who Bolin is. I think that just makes him that just makes him a lot more layered, because we as people, we don't wear our challenges on our sleeves, right? Like, it's something we fight on the inside. On the outside, we're like a person who is like fine and who is functional and doing well, which we see from Bolin as well. We only see his like struggle and his like self-doubt in these like little moments, when most of the time when he's around people, we see him be like okay and he's good and he's, you know, functional. Because he definitely has, like, we see a lot of self-doubt that comes in him when it comes to metal bending, of how, like, you know, he just feels unworthy. How when he sort of joins like Kuvira, how he thought it was the right decision, but then, you know, it like comes back to like bite him, and then he has this whole arc of like how he deals with like regret and, like, you know, building bridges that he burnt by joining this alliance. So we definitely see that from Bolin. We just don't see it at the forefront of who the character is, and that's just like reflective of how Bolin is as a character. So I mean, and I personally like enjoyed seeing Bolin on screen. Like it was so much fun.
No, but the you say he's not on the forefront, but when you have him as one of the main characters, so if you're looking at the gang and you are following a similar format, I understand that the shows are different, but the formula you've opted for is very similar. So when you give that much character development to all your main characters, and then in the next iteration of the show you choose to make something this subtle, it definitely throws off a lot of fans, at least, if not just ruins the experience of that character, because you're like, this is not what I expected from this series, this is not what I expected from these creators. I expected a lot more development, I expected a lot more detail, which I feel like is the problem I have with Bolin, because I'm like, I expected more. I expected a lot more depth to the character, which was being shown properly, which would make me watch it and be like, oh my god, yeah, like, this guy is still as important, even though he's shown to be useless. Because that's the same thing with Sokka. If you look at the world therein, Sokka is useless. He's just a guy who can throw around a boomerang. Nobody cares. But they make him such an important character, even though everyone is better than him.
Even the
people
people
love
love him
him,
in
yeah.
some capacity.
Like, all his girlfriends were better than him.
Like, yeah, I like definitely think that they could have explored like a lot of darkness with this character, and that I would have really like enjoyed like witnessing like some like darkness through like Bolin. So that I completely agree. I would have like really liked some of his challenges to be not so subtle and be put on the foreground. But I think what they did was, I think they just like and this is my assumption, that they made a creative decision as to what challenges do we want to put in the forefront. And I think they just decided not to do that with Bolin, and they decided to do that with Korra, because Korra's struggles took up, because they really went into a lot of depth with her like mental struggles and her physical struggles. So I think that they just creatively were like, let's just focus on like Korra and let's like, you know, like and naturally add. And just because like we like, as we spoke about it, as how we saw like such a good like representation of like PTSD and like, you know, like going through like trauma and all of that, I think we got to see that because characters like Bolin and like Asami took the back burner. I think if these characters were put in the front, we would not be able to enjoy that as much.
But that's what Avatar, like, see, I like shows where they only don't show one character but show qualities of like other characters around them. They give equal importance, if not a little less. I wouldn't say equal, I guess, but you see more characters, like shows like Haikyuu and all we talk about, right, where we are involved into like every character's story. But like, Korra was mostly about Korra. You know, like Aang was... Yeah. It was a good amount of Aang, but it wasn't all Aang. Because you see so much Zuko, you see so much Katara, so much
definitely not all Aang.
Yeah,
you see
exactly.
a lot of, like, the different societies, the different
places, you see Zuko, Korra, you see all these worlds, you know. It's not... That's what... So, and in Korra, it's like, okay, Korra, her struggles, her this. So, it's... I think they changed the whole narrative that way, right? Where they concentrate on her and like... The rest were like not as important, I guess. Yeah.
I think if the other characters were given solo episodes, like how they were given in The Last Airbender, like how, you know, Zuko had like moments with each of them which were so crucial to their specific past. I think that would definitely have added so much more depth to the side characters, because to be fair, we don't know a lot about Bolin's past. We don't know a lot about Mako's past. We don't know a lot about Asami's past. Like, it's just like filled in with like subtext, but it's not enough. So yeah, that I definitely agree that if these characters were truly given like some exploration, that would have like definitely have gotten a lot more people connected to like the truth of this character. So that I absolutely agree with.